Here's a quick summary of the Season 2.5 patch notes for those of you who do not care about the numbers. First of all, Jeff is getting a rework. His primary beam can now damage enemies but does less healing. His bubbles have half as many charges, they only heal over time, and they don't boop enemies. His dive is no longer infinite, thank God, and it heals him less while he's in it. His ultimate now gives overhealth to teammates if they're full health while inside of him. And finally, his reduction to headshot damage has been increased. Captain America, his health is decreased, his shield now takes longer to recover, and he gets his ult less often. Doctor Strange, his primary now does more damage at max range, and his burst has no damage fall off up to 8 meters. Emma Frost, her primary has more range, but her barrier has less health. The choke cooldown has been increased, and her kick does less damage at first, and less damage when they hit a wall. Groot, your primary now does less damage, and his larger wall has a significantly longer cooldown. Magneto, your rings for your secondary now charge faster. Thor, his hammer is now a basic ability. It doesn't take Thor Force, but it gives you Thor Force if you hit someone. Oh, and it does less damage. They also reduce the amount of overhealth that he gets from using Thor Force and the max amount of health that he can get from a total. Hawkeye, his primary does more damage, his explosive arrows do more damage on explosion, but less on impact. They also increase his max focus charge, the rate at which it increases, but also the rate at which it decays. Hela, increased ammo. Human Torch, they reduce the damage of his primary as well as the charge rate of his secondary. They also decrease the amount of shields that you get from using your slam and increase its cooldown. The Fister of Iron, they decrease the amount of health that you get from your block and the max health that you can achieve from it. His kick now goes a shorter distance if you're not targeting someone, and it doesn't reduce the cooldown of his block as much if you do hit someone. Iron Man, he gets a slight increase in damage from the anchor with his team up with Ultron, but his single fire ability will now do less damage on every third shot. He also gets half as much armor whenever he goes into overdrive. And more, significantly longer cooldown on your bubble, larger radius on your ultimate, but it does less damage on the outer ring of the ultimate, and then your Squid's got a buff on the max damage at max range. Psylocke, secondary does less damage, and your time and invisibility is significantly shorter. Punisher, being the anchor for Widow's team up, you get increased health and base damage. On top of that, they're increasing your movement speed and your ultimate both when you're firing and not firing. Larger magazine, slightly better damage on primary, and slightly better spread on your primary. Squirrel Girl, increased primary ammo and a faster cooldown on your bond. They also said basically better of quality of life of using your abilities. I don't know what this means, but apparently they feel more fluid. Star-Lord, his ultimate takes longer to build, but it has a better effective range. Storm, your ultimate does more damage. Luna, increased base damage and heals on your primary, and you also get bonus health whenever you land a freeze on an enemy, but a significant increase to the cost of your ultimate. Rocket, less heals when you hit a direct shot with your primary. And as for team up balances, Iron Fist gets less base damage from his anchor with Luna. All Fantastic Four members have a longer cooldown on their ability, and then Psylocke and Mag clones that you get with the Emma team up do less damage overall.